We also put a proposal and helped one landowner put something together on accommodation. So that was the beginning of last winter. We worked with the Jindabyne Christian Centre to get their DA across through council. That was successful. Unfortunately, there's not much to show for that because we know what happened there. And also we used to have two websites, the Chamber of Commerce website and the Destination Jindabyne website. We've now amalgamated the two together, so we maintain one website, and primarily that's on tourism, on Destination Jindabyne, and there's also a chapter on there on Chamber, and following that has access to all of the businesses here in Jindabyne. If you're a member, you get a bigger promotion on your business, you get bigger fonts, pictures, more speed. If you don't contribute, you can just basically get your name and your phone number. So certainly it's worth it. We also have a premium account that then gives you some marketing support for a small business. So we've done a fair amount of work, probably the crowning for me anyway. Destination that we did was we worked with Sustainable Snowies. Sustainable Snowies is a group of people, usually from the resorts and also from council, who have put together a grant proposal with the EPA. They got $70,000 to study litter and to study how litter impacts on the tourism product here in Jindabyne. There's reports of it, they might be talking about it during the evening, but certainly that was, for me, very enlightening as to working with a bunch of really dedicated people who really care about litter. And surprisingly enough, we don't have a big issue here in Jindabyne, but certainly some of the places that they identified being an issue, we got counted in the clay pits. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but they developed strategies on how to cope with that. So that will be what we go through afterwards. Tonight, as we normally do, we've got a number of speakers. We end with Fredbo. We're going to start off with Sri McNair, who will talk about Lake Light. She'll also do a little bit of talking with the partnership proposal for youth ventures. We've got Lauren Van Dyke. Lauren, good looking Lauren here. He'll be talking about the Upper Snowy Land Care Network. I'll be mentioning about the Apex Naval Snowies. We have Renee Haven, the CEO from Corporate to Community.
Not the CEO.
And Melinda, yeah.
Another substitute?
Yes.
And Mel.
Evening of substitutes. Luckily we've got the very authentic 50 from people. No, another substitute? Sorry there. And we will have the very original Caroline talking. No? No, tonight's going to be substitute night. Please make yourself welcome to Christy. Hayley Mason.
So Hayley Technology.
Oh boy, Shireen McNair. See the substitute, you can tell the substitutes.
Do I just think someone from here we can take out and you can connect in? Give me ideas.
While Cherie's doing that, so we don't all spend time looking at her.
Sorry.
One of the things that we spoke about tonight, we had our AGM, the Chamber of Commerce, and then we had a community meeting. And one thing we spent some time talking about was the SAP process. Of course, we all know what the SAP is. Yes, good. One of the, we had the advisory group met with the SAP on the 9th of November, and they gave us an update as to what was going to happen. And I didn't attend the meeting, unfortunately, it was my wife's birthday. You can't do it once. I know what my priorities are. But we spoke at length about the SAP looking at the connector road. So in the past, the connector road was going to be 2 lanes, and we had discussed with the team, the SAP planning team, to leave Kosciuszko Road 4 lanes. At the last meeting, they indicated they will only be down to 2 lanes. So the Chamber was quite concerned on the impact of local businesses. So if you're a local business in town, be prepared to talk with us and to lend your name to an open letter we're going to address to the SAP team, directly to Gary Barnes, expressing our massive concern on reducing Cosgrove Road down to 2 lanes and its impact on business, particularly as the proposed move for the caravan park is not going to happen. So if you're a local business, we'll be in communication with you and share with you what we know on the SAP and the Connection Road and see what your feelings are about leaving your name to an open letter to try and address that with the SAP and Gary Barnes particularly.
I am all good. Hi everyone, my name's Cherie. I'm actually the Senior Project Manager for Council. I'm actually representing Hayley from the Ship Corp tonight, who gives an apology. She had to go back to Sydney. The Ship Corp are working with Council to deliver a series of youth events that we had funded through the Bushfire Resilience and Recovery Fund through the state government. Specifically for youth and youth mental health and utilising our skate parks and some of our lakesides like Jindabyne, Bombala and Jindabyne for the adventure series. So I thought I'd just have a quick chat to everyone tonight because we'll actually have some opportunities for local businesses if they want to turn up on the day of our events and set up a stall or sell things. Do get in contact. Hayley's details are just on the last slide. So with the Youth Adventure Series, we're working with an 18 to 24-year-old age group, largely funded under a mental health and recovery funding profile for that, but also making use of the facilities that we have in council that don't often get a lot of profile. We have 2 youth officers at council who don't have a huge budget for programming, so this has given them a fantastic opportunity to be able to put on a series of really fantastic events across the series. We've got a Southern Region series. It's mixed gender, as I said, it's 12 to 24. We're also trying to include under 12s by having a kind of open skate, scoop and BMX series. The Adventure Challenge, which is the first one, is 3 challenges. It's open to that 12 to 24 age group. We have had a couple of people that say, I'm 11, can I bring my parent? And they'll be my partner for the day, so we are allowing that as well. Bombala, Jindabyne and Jindabyne are our 3 locations. That's a kayak, mountain bike and a run. It's not overly onerous, but hopefully it'll be quite fun for participants. They're the contact details and the times for the adventure series itself. 12:30 is supposed to be the earliest. So if any of those can't appeal, as I said, Hayley's quite keen to hear from everybody if you're all keen to participate. We're also looking for enthusiastic volunteers to participate with us. We'll have a number of council staff there, but we're also looking for adults that might know anything about skating, kayaking, canoeing. Please turn up if you're keen to volunteer. We need as many people as possible to try to make it a big community event. The skate series, we've got 2. We've got our local one, which utilises the skate parks that are in the region, but we've also partnered with a number of our neighbouring councils to make it a region-wide. So Queanbeyan, June, Batemans Bay, Goulburn, and then holding the final in Jindabyne. So they're the dates. Hopefully you can see those. If not, I can give you a copy of this to circulate to everybody. The southern regions, the final, will be held in Jindabyne. We'll have local bands. We've got heaps of space that we can set up. So for anyone that wants to have a presence on the day, we'd love to hear from you. We'll have food trucks. We'll organise music. Depending on how many people we're expecting, we may set up a grandstand. We're expecting, because it's the regional one, we'll have quite a few people there coming from out of region. So it's a great opportunity for us to showcase what we have. You'll probably start to see in the next week or so, because we've just landed today, a number of these posters, stickers and QR codes that take you straight through. We're using a ticketing platform called Humanitics. One of the really fantastic things about working with the Ship Corp is that they're a B Corp. So everything that they do, they look at the supply chain for that to make sure that everything is above board, and where they can, they've got that social enterprise at the back of it. So it's been a really great experience working with them. So that's the contact details. There's a Facebook page, so Youth Adventure Series. You can also come through the council website to find it. As I said, looking for prizes and giveaways. We've got Vans, Volcom, Oakley, Red Bull, and a couple of others that have come on board as sponsors, which is fantastic for us. And Vans and Volcom have both got their international and their Australian offices involved in the events. We're also doing things like for kids that may have barriers to participation, we're making sure that they've got helmets and safety equipment so they can let us know. So it's also not limited to kids that grew up in a skating or BMX household, so kids that haven't had any exposure can come along and we'll have judges there that are able to do some coaching. So it's a big kind of opportunity to be involved. Looking for volunteers, so for those of you that like youth events, please feel free to volunteer. As I said, Hayley's contact details, so Hayley Mason at the Shift Agency, and I can circulate her contact number. So I'll keep that short and sweet. Yeah.
Are you looking for more sponsorship?
If people are keen to, we're happy to work with local business. We've been trying to utilise as many local businesses as possible to set it all up. We've got boys to the splits van, we'll probably be doing food on the day, we're going to chat to Rockets and a few others. Music, if anyone's got any good musicians, we're finding everything on the ground, so if anyone knows any musicians that might like to do a skate event, please let us know. But yes, definitely, anyone that's keen, if you can think of a way to participate, just let us know, we're very kind of open.
Maybe we'll use our email just to try and get some sponsorship, or at least lots of businesses that maybe aligned to like some of those local schools. And
Yeah. Okay. We'll probably procure a lot of our prizes from there that are on top of the sponsors' prizes that being provided.
Right, any questions?
Promise to keep it short, so. Right. So, when I'm not working in council for my sins of moving here, I suppose by starting off, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting tonight, elders past, present and emerging, and particularly Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that are here today. My background prior to moving to the region is 20 odd years in the cultural sector, so Lakelight is a much more kind of comfortable home for me than council at times. So I've recently taken over from Lisa, who most of you would probably know as chair, with Steve, who's hiding on the back, Michelle, who some of you would know, was here with us for a number of years, Karen Jarvis, who's a member of yours, and Jen Ernie, who you probably know from town too. So that's our core group. We've also got Ben Isles still as our assistant director, who's staying on with us, and we've got Joe Larkin from Southeast Arts, who's an exhibition with us. So that's our little group. We've basically spent the last 6 months just going back to basics and looking at our governance structure, putting a bunch of policies and procedures in place that make us more attractive for government funding and to make it a much more sustainable event. So in the future, if we all disappear off the face of the planet, anyone can come in and kind of pick up where we left off. In terms of moving forward, I'm presuming for this group, most of you are probably from the region and know a lot about Lakelight, but it's the leading arts and cultural event in the region. Just some quick stats for everybody. We had 26,500 people come through this Easter, so if you thought that it felt a bit busy at Easter, that's probably why. So that was up 6% from the 2019 event, which was actually cancelled. The 2020 event was cancelled. We had 160 sculptures in the last event. We had 266 sold, so that included a number of artists that provided multiples. And the event income for us was 123,800. So for a fully volunteer run, not-for-profit event, that's pretty amazing. It means that we can be sustainable for future years. So that's what we're looking at the moment in terms of the background of the event. It costs us around $85,000 to run the event. We're trying to get to a position where we always have $85,000-ish in the bank, so the next year is always able to be run. We estimate that the volunteer value in terms of hours is around $150,000. It's probably more than that. But we're getting a few extra volunteers on for this next year's event, which is the 20th anniversary. In terms of evaluation, we were lucky enough to work with Canberra University and Southeast Arts to do a huge number of surveys. So if we were tackled by somebody on the path for this year's event, that was probably us. 99% said that they'd visit again in the future, which is fantastic. So that means that all the volunteers involved in that project have been doing a really fantastic job. They come at a different time of year. So for us, we started to look, and certainly in discussion with Donna and Nick at the Tourism Centre for Council, and looking at everything else that's on. There's this is a tribute to the concert that's coming next year. We've had a look at how do we improve things for the township by stretching out that shoulder season. There's a lot that happens here on that Easter long weekend. Obviously, Threadbow has a massive weekend. How do we actually bring all of those people through on other opportunities? So that was really really sort of helpful for us in terms of that 99% that can come at a different time, so we can start to look at where we could potentially shift it to another weekend in that Easter school holiday period. 91% would recommend the event to others. We didn't actually get feedback on why the 9% wouldn't, but that's still pretty high. And 87% were highly satisfied. So we were really pleased with those results, and that kind of lets us know we're still heading in the right direction and to keep forging along. I won't go through all of these. I can certainly circulate them, so they're probably useful to some of you from a business perspective. Probably some of the key ones: 42% stayed 4 to 7 nights. So people are keen to be here for that long weekend. And obviously the arts and culture offer is something that's quite a significant factor in something that they can do. That most people came as groups or couples. You probably know that, not a lot of solo travellers. And then one of the really interesting demographics for us, which probably feeds into the kind of sales component, the fundraising component for the following years, is the needs of the people that are coming, so how much disposable income they might potentially have to spend on some really great sculptures. In terms of 2022, we're looking at running the 4 full days. So in the past, we've had that sort of half a day to set up and half a day to pack up. We're actually going to start from the Friday morning, first thing in the morning, and run through to the close of the long weekend. We're moving all the awards and the announcements to the Saturday night, and we're trying to set things up in such a way that we can support artists to stay for the weekend. So when the announcements are made, the artists are actually here to receive their awards, and we can make a really big deal of it. How many people came to the Saturday night event this year? Yeah, a couple. Okay. So I recommend that you come along. So we're looking at increasing Indigenous engagement. That's certainly something that we at Council, and I know the schools are trying to engage a lot more. So that's something that we're keen to do, obviously from an arts and culture perspective. We've partnered with the Lions Club. So the smalls are moving to the Easter Fair. So one of the other things that we looked at is what the strategic partnerships were and where we might be doubling up or taking people away. So we can work really closely with the smalls and hopefully have people transitioning a little bit more through town. We're bringing on board a paid marketing consultant. So in the past, it's again been volunteer time, but certainly when we're signing on sponsors, we want to make sure that we can actually deliver on the benefits that we're offering, and certainly from a marketing perspective. That's out for tender at the moment, so we'll get those quotations back probably to discuss in the next couple of weeks. We're going to include volunteer briefings, lots more artist talks, looking at artist accommodation to try and set it up as a bit of an artist village. One of the things that Michelle and Karen have been working on is an online sales platform. So we're not just limited to people buying things on the day and running backwards and forwards between tents. You can actually sit at home and buy a sculpture from Lakelight. So we're really enthusiastic about that, and hopefully it will also broaden our audience from an online perspective. So for us, in terms of partnerships, we're just continuing on in that we want to look for people that want to work with us to support the largest community arts event in the region. It's our 20th anniversary next year, so it's going to be a really big year for us. The Saturday night in particular will be the focus of those celebrations. We're looking for people that want either bespoke offers for their clients or just want to do community partnerships, but certainly open to the discussion to see what that would look like for individual businesses. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. We do a lot of things. We have the opportunity for education programs. We've got a lot of volunteers. We have a lot of people come through. So we're keen to hear what people would be interested in.
Awesome. Thanks, Sherry.
So just quickly, with your numbers for all the surveys of different weekends and that sort of thing, how did you conduct those surveys? So we set up the survey probably 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, worked with the marketing and events team at Canberra University, and then we had probably about 12 individuals over the course of the 4 full days, just walking up and down the path and doing surveys, all different demographics, no sort of specifically look for young people, just everybody that came through the path, all on paper. So a lot of data. So we had students that were very keen that did the data entry for us. So we've actually got all of the data that sits behind that. So certainly for anybody that's keen to get access to that, do get in touch. We've just pulled the bits that are kind of most relevant for us.
Sweet. Thank you.
Great, no problem. Thank you very much for your time.
It's such a fantastic event though, isn't it? I don't think there's one person in this room who hasn't been. You see, 100% participation.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. Who owns land? So you're going to have to love like Chris is going to need somebody to change that like that. No.
Deputy Chair of Upper Snowy Land Care Network, which covers basically the Snowy River catchment from about Bombala, Lachlan River, down that way. It's been in existence for some 23 years. And I've been a member of that since 2009, along with various officers. But the reason I'm here tonight is just to show you some of our latest publication products. One of the ones we love doing every year, we've done for well over 10 years, maybe 15 years. This is our calendar. The artwork on this is done by, we've selected from all the contributions by kids in primary schools all around our area. There's some over there you can take home with you. If they run out, there's more at the visitor centre. But when you have a close look at these, the artwork of these kids is just outstanding. It's so much detail, some really great ideas and imaginative thinking in them. So that's a plug for that one. Take those home. Yeah, a lot of kids do get them through the schools, but if you don't have kids, you may not get to see them. Following that is it's kind of a photo montage of kind of wildflowers that exist in the Monero native grasslands. Now, we don't have a lot of work doing on those because they're mainly on farmlands, particularly large-scale grazing properties that have been grazed for years, and there's still a lot of, I suppose, controversy around managing those and sort of the potential conflicts between agricultural practices and protecting, I guess, a disappearing example of unique Australian ecosystems and species within them. So that's why we give a theme every year. It could be tree fires, it could be fires, it could be floods, species, aquatic species, but this year it was about grasslands, so the two sort of go together. The main product of the night is this little booklet that's about tree planting, and this is really aimed at large-scale tree planting. So this is the second edition of this, and the genesis of the first one and leading into this one was the dieback that most of you have probably seen driving around in Monero. A terrible tree dieback that started around 2005 and some really scarred landscapes around the place. So this booklet has been expanded on the first one. The first one was more a guide of how you get in plant trees on a large scale and how to get the maximum success. This guide does sort of recap on that. It expands a bit more on the values, the processes you have to go through to try and avoid running into trouble and maximise your chances of successful planting. And we've followed these guidelines on most of our sites, and we've had pretty good luck. We did have some sites. Timing is always in the lap of the gods around here. You can plant and then just get no rain for months, and that can lead you into trouble unless you've got facilities or money or whatever to pay for watering. It also touches on the causes of dieback, and it also now touches on the sort of emerging carbon market. So this is of interest to farmers who want to, landholders who might want to rehabilitate the landscape, particularly in those dieback areas, or for those that want to plant trees as maybe environmental offsets for planning consents, or even to enter the carbon market. I can't give you a lot of information on the carbon market because I'm not that familiar with it myself, but I think we're kind of on the threshold of something fairly major happening, and there are great opportunities to get into that. So there's plenty of these booklets there, so if anyone wants to sort of dig into that, take one. And our land care coordinator is now full-time, Lauren Van Dyke. She's available via our website or our Facebook page, so she's more than happy to help. She's usually the first point of contact. She comes out, and if you want to get going on your land, she comes out and starts running through the process and selecting sites and all the different bits and pieces. We work with local land services a lot on these things, and also Snowy River Council on similar and other issues like lands and general environment protection. So put yourself one of those. I'll take this and glad to hear from you.
And this year's the year to do it. La Nina means that we're going to have a really, really wet summer. So if you're thinking about planting trees, looking at some landowners now. This year's a do it because you won't pay for the watering fees. Guaranteed every week we're going to get heaps of rain.
And we do help a lot. See, we've got 20 or more landlords now who we've got on board. We've got sites up and running. We're still only to a list. We usually run with grants, so we're pretty successful with grants. I think we're holding about $400,000 worth of grant money to roll it out. And these are usually 3-year projects, so we get efficiencies by engaging contractors to do steps in the process. So on the team that's coming up in the spring.
I got 200 trees from them last year and it was really good. It was a lot of it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Shane, Christy, thank you. And I've got Christy in the brain now. But I don't know that because Renee's going to come and talk to us now. Renee, do you see, no, she's not. She's speaking for the CEO of Corporate and Community. No, Renee. No, Christy.
We didn't know there was going to be a audio-visual component, so we've got flyers for this printing, but Catherine's just going to hand them around with the flyer to just have something visual for you. So I'm Mel, and I'm from Corporate Community. We're a social enterprise focused on building businesses and communities. I'm here to talk about a grant project that we're running in the southern region of New South Wales across 12 LGAs. So the project is funded by the Bushfire Resilience and Recovery Fund to build resilience into bushfire affected business communities. It's called the Business Community Resilience Toolkit, which is such a mouthful.
Just a little bit louder.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So we've shortened it to the BCR toolkit, so it's easier to say. So it's a free pilot program open to all business owners, managers and employees in the eligible areas to help them prepare for future disasters and disruptions through 26 online modules. It means that any person working in a business in Jindabyne or in any of the other areas can sign up. It's an individual account, not a business account. So if you've got multiple people in your business, it might still be multiple people doing it, and you might learn different things from the program. It doesn't matter what industry the business is in, if it's small, medium or large. The program is purposefully designed so it's relevant to any business, and it's personally kept forward so that you can take your own lessons from it and do further learnings as relevant to you. It's also, we consider a business any organisation that has to keep operating, after a disaster. So, and any business that basically doesn't want to make a loss. So, community organisations, not-for-profits, and councils as well. So, we've got lots of councils going through the program also. How it works is that every fortnight we release a new module, and participants will receive either a text or an email to alert them that the module is live. They click the link and they answer 2 yes or no questions about each of the themes. Depending on their response to those 2 questions, tailored information appears. And we say that, at minimum it takes about 20 seconds to complete the module because you answer the 2 questions, but there will be like a little video that you can watch and links to further information if you want to learn more. We officially launched the program at the start of October. And there are 5 modules that are currently live. The 6th will be going out in a couple of weeks. So the program runs across 12 months, but we don't want that to put people off because it's purposely designed that way so that you're not getting all of the information at once. You do it in steps. So you can, because we've started the program, that shouldn't stop you from signing up because it's pretty easy to go back through the ones that are already live and go and answer questions to those modules. It's also personally designed so that the businesses and the community are going through it together because sometimes the solutions to the problems that are raised are not individual business solutions, but they actually can be solved by group think and communities coming together and helping each other out. I'll talk about the data a bit more at the end. So So some of the examples of the types of things that are in the toolkit are, you know, access to power and telecommunications, your number of revenue streams, going local and supply chains, removing yourself as the linchpin of the business, and making sure that you communicate regularly with customers, employees and suppliers. Since June, we've been collaborating with a working group of stakeholders from each area, including chamber reps, councils, emergency services, and they've helped us develop the content that goes into the toolkit so it's as relevant and interesting to the businesses in this region. We're still in the process of mapping out the second half of the toolkit, so if you have an idea of things that you know is important for businesses to know, then you can let us know and we can incorporate that into it. We're also incorporating lots of things from RFS and SES and I guess government services that are already available. We're not about duplicating what anyone else is doing, we're about linking to the services and bringing it into a central environment. Our hope is that the questions and module content lead people to make simple changes within their business to ready themselves for the inevitable and sadly ever-increasing disasters and disruptions that keep coming our way. We use the 80-20 rule and believe that by putting in 20% of effort, you can prepare for 80% of disaster impacts, whether it be a fire, a flood, or a storm, and even like smaller disruptions like temporary outages or even personal crisis. An example is, you know, the power offering goes out for a few hours, it could be a scheduled outage or for a day. The businesses that can keep operating when that happens have a huge opportunity to not only not lose income, but you know, potentially gain income because they're one of the only businesses that can stay open. Alright, I might skip the next example. So I'll just lastly touch on the, given the timing, I'll touch on the data that we're collecting. So the 2 yes/no questions are also designed so that the data that we're getting back from the responses across the community will give us a depiction of how resilient the business community is. We break down to LGAs as well as towns, and it will be provided back to the community for free, so local organisations like the council and the chamber can apply for funding to fill the gaps identified. So that's why, you know, even best practice businesses that think that, you know, they're covered against most disruptions that could happen, it's still worth answering the questions so that we get a more accurate depiction of the community. Thanks for having me. Sorry that I went long.
No.
If you want to know more about it,
Talk to us.
Mel's going to be here
Yeah.
afterwards, and then she'll be able to fill you in.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to run a tight schedule.
Yeah, no worries. And the QR code you can sign up is just scan.
Thanks,
Love
Mel.
QR codes, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
Janet. Janet's the chair of Tourism Snow Mountains. Have we all seen the new video clip about the summer mountains?
Oh, we were going to start. Hi everyone. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. We just wanted to talk a little bit about what Tourism Snow Mountains is up to at the moment. We've had a big year, a bit like the chamber. We've gone through quite a bit of change. We've got Christy over here, who's our marketing and communications manager. And we've spent quite a bit of time on improving our various channels to market. Our websites really come on a long way in the last 12 months. We're doing a lot more publicity, and we've had some really good results despite the year. We've also been working with the SAP team, contributing to the SAP, because obviously one of the greatest goals of that thing is about year-round visitor economy, so that's been really important to us, and we're continuing those conversations. But one of our big successes this year was that we managed to get a grant, one of the bushfire recovery grants for $700,000, and that funding is targeted in 3 areas. Firstly, to marketing campaigns over the next 2 years, and the campaign that Olivia just alluded to that we've recently launched will be a really good stepping stone for that, or a launch platform for that for the new campaigns. We've engaged an agency to work with us over the next 2 years on the marketing activity. The one that we've just done was in partnership with several of our local stakeholders. So that was really successful, or it's looking like really successful. the second thing that grant's going on is a small fund towards events, and we're working out the best way to actually allocate that so it has like the best bang for the buck. Because we've got 100,000 for events, so over 2 years we want to make sure that that's really effectively spent. So that's something the board's discussing. But the third area that I really want to talk to you about is we've committed to an industry development program. Tourism Stone Mountain's role is around promotion, industry development, product development. We support council. We're funded by stakeholders, financial stakeholders, the resorts, Snowy Hydro, national parks, council, a small national council.
Very small.
Very small council. And so to actually have got this grant means we can really put some resources in over the next 2 years. So what we're looking at is basically a 2-year industry development program, which will involve a series of what we call experience development workshops. We've got lots of winter product in the region. We're also really growing in the summer activities and so on, but we really need more commissionable product that will be really attractive to our new markets and attracting further growth and particularly spend in the region. So it's a program of working with existing businesses or new businesses to look at what opportunities we can have for actually developing new tourism product, and also working with those businesses that are existing as to if there's ways we can help them to improve in terms of their approach to market, the product they're offering, making sure it's really right for the consumer. And then complementing that will be a mentoring program, which individual businesses will be able to apply for and have a program of mentoring. So we've got we've got consultants that are actually working on that for the next 2 years. We were hoping to launch that next Tuesday, but our grant money didn't actually come until Monday, so we've had to defer that. And that program will start late February, early March next year. We'll make sure that it goes out to all chamber members because it's really valuable. It'll be really something that many of the members will be really interested in doing. So we'll be doing that over the next 2 years. There'll be 2 rounds of that. And at the same time, we'll be looking at our new marketing approach, which will be able to actually promote some of those new experiences that we hope will come through the program. So I think that's probably all.
Who's in tourism here? Now, I'm expecting absolutely every single person to put their hands up. It doesn't matter whether you run an auto shop, or whether you run a hostel, or whether you run a solar company, you're all involved in tourism. This town exists based on tourism. So certainly supporting the likes of organisations like the Chamber, of course, but also PSM, is critical to our success. As is good working cooperation with the resorts. And in that sense, can I introduce Caroline?
Yeah,
No substitute. Stuart Diver.
Thanks. Thanks, Olivia. Great to be here. Normally we come down to Jindabyne and do our own prezzo and get a few people in and sort of like that. So we just thought we'd mix it up this year and try and do something a bit different and try and speak to a little bit of a different audience. It's great. What I love about it, it's great to see how diverse the number of groups are that are trying to make Jindabyne and the whole area successful, and how many programs there are, how much government grant money there is currently around to do that. I'm a former board member on TSM. Caroline's obviously on the board now, representing Threadbow. Organisations like that have been around for a long time. Definitely very passionate about what goes on in this area, as we are. Because obviously Jindabyne is hugely important to the resorts, as everyone always says. Thank you. Thank you. The resorts are always, we always push that the resorts are hugely important to Jindabyne. That's pretty true too. We drive a fair bit of traffic through the area, but it works the other way as well, the other way around as well, which is really important to us, and that's why I think it's great. Thank you for the opportunity to come down tonight. I'm not going to go on. There's a couple of slides to go through here. Winter 21, just a really quick run. So for us in Thredbo, we were 90% down on revenue. So the previous year, we were not. We had quite a successful winter. We thought that was a bad COVID winter with 50% capacity restrictions. Obviously, they didn't quite play out. We planned, like everyone else, to pretty well roll through. We should be pretty good as we get through. But the August close down, shutdown, lockdown definitely killed us. So it was a difficult year. I know the businesses in Thredbo, just to give people an idea, would have probably a maximum had about a 50% loss in revenue all the way down to similar to us in that loss. So yeah, a difficult year for everyone, but it hasn't dampened our enthusiasm to go on for winter 2022. A big part of what we're doing, which I've spoken about previously, is development in Thredbo. So you know, the Snowy Sap is definitely got a few $100 million to throw around. You know, in Thredbo, we're talking definitely in the tens of millions over the next 3 to 5 years, and out to even larger numbers than that over the next 10 years. So we're in a real investment phase. We invested heavily in the late 80s into the early 90s, and we're due to have a big investment. A lot of that investment comes around next year. Preliminary works in the following year for FY24, winter 24, rebuilding the Merritts Mountain House. So it'll be a $12 million multi-purpose building at the top of the new gondola. Obviously the gondola's been hugely successful for us. So looking at putting a venue up there for events, weddings, conferences, as well as to cater for the massive winter crowd that hovers around the bottom of the cruiser chairlift. The Alpine Coaster, which is a gravity roller coaster, spoken about it for a couple of years. DA just about to go in, looking to have that built for next winter, which will be an amazing, unique ride, first one in Australia, and will be a really good asset to have, because it can operate year round in snow, in rain. It's not like our current bobsled, which has to shut down every time it rains. So our focus in Thredbo, outside of mountain biking in summer, mountain biking and hiking in summer, and skiing and snowboarding in winter, is really about things you can use year round. So the Alpine Coast is the first part of that. Zip lines are listed up there, which are for those who don't know, like the old Flying Foxes. Just meeting with a group out of Canada tomorrow morning to progress that, and hopefully having them built for winter 2024. Mountain bike is obviously a massive thing for us. Last year, 128% growth in mountain biking, which is, we've been averaging 30% growth, which we thought was pretty cool. So 128% growth is phenomenal. We won't get that again this year, because we just can't fit that many people in. But our idea this year, and I'll talk a little bit about mountain biking, is to expand again and just to continue that, because the more trails we build, the better it gets. Chairlift replacement, starting with snow guns DA, just about to go in. So we're basically replacing them on a timeline, so the oldest chairs get replaced first. So Merritts was replaced with gondola. Snow guns will get a 6-pack chair built on it, hopefully opening for winter 24, and then we'll just progress out a chair every 2 years that until all the current chairs are replaced. And a big one for us obviously is snowmaking. In Thredbo, having lower stretches of the mountain, we know that with what's going on with the climate possibly, that the windows to make snow are definitely becoming shorter, and with cold temperatures, and they're becoming earlier in the season. So May and June is when we're seeing the best temperatures. Even July is getting difficult to make snow now. So therefore we have to up the capacity. So the idea is over the next 3 years to double the capacity of our current snowmaking system. Starting that this year with investment in fan guns. So all the Friday flow will be totally replaced with fan guns, or pretty well, and then which have bigger capacity, and then upgrading the snowmaking pump house next year to double the amount of air and water we can pump up the hill. So a lot of infrastructure investment to be able to provide our guests with what they currently expect. Summer ahead, obviously really big. We would have, if it hadn't snowed up, a massive opening weekend. So we have an even more massive second opening weekend in mountain biking. The forward bookings through our online booking system are massive for summer, so we expect similar sort of growth to what we had last year. We used to cheer when we got sort of over 100 mountain bikers a day riding in Thredbo. That was 5 years ago when we sort of took it over, and now we do over 1,000 a day. And the aim within the next 5 years is we'll be doing 2,000 a day. mountain biking. So similar growth. It's the idea is build the trails. They will come. Open the lifts, and they will come. I'll talk about that in a second. Merritt's Gondola, obviously summer operations up there. We've got some live music events at the top there, which will be really exciting. Kara's going to talk a little bit about those. But that has been, it's funny, when we first built Merritt's Gondola, people going like, what are you doing? That's a $16 million lift that doesn't really seem to go anywhere new, doesn't do anything. It's the best lift we ever built. To have a lift there that we can use in summer when we build the restaurant at the top, we can get wedding parties up there and they'll be nice and dry when they get off at the top. It is just, it is seriously the best that we built for skiing and for mountain biking as well. And it's great now that we've opened it this year for mountain biking, which is pretty cool as well, with racks on the side. First weekend, last weekend, which went really well, except they got a little muddy on the inside, but that's okay, just close them out and start again. And then obviously a massive shift for us on online purchase. Winter was 95% of our sales in product were online. So a huge shift into that market, especially in winter, a little bit more difficult in summer. Mountain biking, we're aiming to build a new trail, or more than one new trail every year. We'll get 2 or 3 built this summer. New entry-level trail called Sidewinder, which comes off the top of the gondola, so first-time riders be able to go up the top of the gondola and just roll generally down a trail, which is still lower intermediate. It's definitely not super green, but it's given the steepness of Thredbo slopes, it's a great trail for kids, families, etc. to ride on. So really excited about that. Restructured the Thredbo Mountain Bike School, very much just mirroring the winter model. So you have skiing, snowboarding, you've got mountain biking, you've got a snow sports school, you've got a mountain bike school. So really keen for all of that. And looking, all of our events are back on the mountain bike events, Cannonball, etc., which is great. Our own seeding event, which now it's well over 1,000 competitors and easily 3,000 to 4,000 people coming up for the 6 days that event now runs over, and we're just pushing that event out to get longer and longer, the same as Crank Weeks in Whistler. Mountain bike events have been hugely successful for us. The really big sort of part in that future development is very similar to the skiing model, is all our development of new trails is going to the cruiser area. So next year, cruiser will be operating for mountain biking as well. So we'll be running Cosy, Gun Barrel, the gondola and the cruiser for mountain biking to try and cope with the numbers that are going on. The new Snow Guns replacement chair will be a mountain bike compatible chair, so that'll be our main chair on the Kosciuszko side of the mountain. So a really big investment. Obviously skiing is still where the majority of the money is, but a huge investment into mountain biking and making sure that everything we do going forward is revolving around that area. Really quick environmental update. Great to listen to Landcare and all the others are doing it. Sustainable Snowies we work with. EarthCheck Gold is an independent, EarthCheck's an independent organisation, international organisation that rates, audits resorts on their environmental sustainability. We gained EarthCheck Gold last year, only resort in Australia to be doing that, and very proud of that and the work. That's about 12 years of work and auditing that's gone into achieving gold. So a huge achievement for us in Thredbo, and something that we're going to market and obviously get our credentials out there a lot more, because we've been doing a huge amount of work in Thredbo in regards to environmental sustainability over the years, and a lot of different programs we've been doing, but we probably haven't told enough people about it. So that's a big focus for us as we go forward, and also trying to get EarthCheck Platinum status, which is there's about 3% of the businesses involved in EarthCheck that actually have that status, so that would be great for Thredbo. We started organics recycling, working with Keep It Cool on tree planting around the area. Thin grooming fleet, snow sap, I don't know if you know that, but it measures the snow down to about 3 centimetres, so it makes it hugely efficient to groom and to make snow, because we know where to make the snow. That's in all of our front lines, so 9 of our Casbora grooming fleet, big investment, but hopefully will pay off over time. You have to groom less, make less snow. Staff carpooling, uniform upcycling, which we've been doing quite a bit of. We obviously, having over 1,200 staff, we have a lot of uniforms that we churn through, so making sure that we're doing what we can with them as we go through. That's me. Cool. Hey, here's
10 minutes.
Is that my 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Normally I talk to about 20. So thanks everyone for listening. Really hugely positive with Thredbo. Kara's just going to go through a bit of the stuff events-wise and what we're doing in marketing. From my side, I don't see any division. I don't see any division between the resorts or anyone else around the place. I think that we all need to work together to make Jindabyne successful, the wider Snowies region more successful. That's on my agenda. We have been a long-term sponsor of the Lake Light Festival, a major sponsor over many years. I won't say, we sponsor with $10,000 a year, which is, so we're obviously interested in the area, in arts, in all of that. We're not just there running a ski business. And I think that as the only resort really operating in a major year-round way, we love to support you guys and we love your support as well. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
And thanks to Jindabyne Connect for having us here this evening. It's a great way for us to talk about what we're doing to bring people to the region. So I won't take up too much time tonight, but I just wanted to talk through all the things that Thredbo is doing to bring people to the region and also to give people a really great experience while they're here. Because it's one thing to get people here, but we really need to be investing in the experience so that people come back and that they want to come back time after time. But before I launch in, I just wanted to go through or share with you some of the post-lockdown travel trends that we've really formulated our marketing strategy around. It'll give some insights into what we can expect over the coming summer, which is really exciting for the whole area. I just hope we're ready to cope with the demand. Surprise, surprise, Australians, like all of us in this room, we really want to travel. It's been a long time that we've been in lockdown. And this is all research based on a survey that the News Travel Network did recently of 1,000 survey respondents about their appetite to travel and what they're thinking of doing over the next 12 to 24 months. Australians are planning an average of 9 trips over the next 24 months, whether that's a 2 or 3 day getaway or something longer. There's still a really, there's a short-term focus on travel, well there's a short-term planning window, so people are planning really late. So 68% of the travel respondents are still yet to book anything for their next holiday. So the strong bookings that we're already having, we haven't seen anything yet. 50% of Australians are still lacking confidence in international travel, which has probably increased in this last week with the news that's coming out. So that's putting us in, a continued, as much as we all want to travel internationally, it's putting our businesses in a really strong position for the next 12 to 24 months. The travel motivators, everyone is interested in safety, connection, getting away from stress. They're very keen to plan. So even the ad hoc traveller who's being spontaneous wants to plan. They want to look at an itinerary and they want to pack as many experiences in as they can because they're pointing at the revenge spend. They want to get out and spend money and treat themselves because people feel like they're being hardly done by. So they're looking for fun, bucket list experiences. They want to challenge themselves. They want to try new things. They want to make up for lost time. They want unique experiences. So that's what all of our region really needs to do, really dig deep to deliver an excellent guest experience and try and increase those experiences on offer. They're also looking for value, flexibility, reliability and excellent customer service. So taking all of those travel trends into account, we've put together a fully integrated marketing campaign into market that's currently performing really, really well. It's across a whole range of channels, digital display, search, paid search, social, and a whole range of traditional forms of advertising. So we've got print, radio, cinema, and paid partnerships. Also working really closely with tourism organisations like Tourism Snowy Mountains, so we supported the recent campaign that they did, and other, and Destination New South Wales and Tourism Australia as well. There's a lot of funding to get regional travel back in check, so we're taking advantage of that and really trying to work with those organisations. So our campaign that's currently in market, highlighting Thredbo's unique selling propositions for summer, which as Stu talked about, is Thredbo is mountain biking. We've now got over 35 kilometres of graded trails, an excellent mountain bike school, which as Stu said mirrors the winter snow sports sort of model. So we're getting to a point where we're taking a lot of the learnings out of winter snow sports into summer and creating a great mountain bike school with a huge range of programs and clinics for all levels. Australia's bucket list hikes. So hiking is still really huge to us. And when you look at what people want to tick off, they want to hike up Mount Kosciuszko. So we've got a whole range of self-guided and guided hikes on offer. And our guided hikes team are excellent. They're such knowledgeable guides in terms of flora, fauna, history, culture. And I think if you can ever get a chance to go on one of the guided hikes, it's a really great experience. Unique experiences, so we've got a whole range of fun, interesting, out-of-the-box things happening this year, which are selling really quickly. So our meteor shower hike in mid-December, where you go up during the night, that's already sold out. We've got full moon hikes, we've got wellness retreats, and all of those things true to the travel trends that I just took you through. They're selling really, really well, so just showing people's appetite for trying new things. And the huge calendar of events, we're really excited that we've got a full events calendar back for this summer, and I'll take you through that in a moment. I'll play our hero campaign edit. So this is currently playing across event cinemas right up the Eastern Seaboard, which is great for us because cinemas has come back strong with Bond and a whole range of movies right now. So I'll play this. It's also it's cut up across digital, across YouTube, display ads in a whole variety of formats. Hopefully it's loud enough.
Certainly don't want my technical support.
Oh, no, what's happening?
What would you
Let me
add?
just jiggle some things. Otherwise, I'll
Okay,
highlight it.
yes.
Excellent. There we go. All right. All right, I was just going to show you a snapshot of our digital ads in market. So, yes, you can see them. So these are beautifully animated when these are served up online, beautifully animated. They are targeting our three audience groups: families, mountain bikers, and people that just love getting into the outdoors. So they're currently being, I guess we're targeting people with digital advertising, but it does really work, and the ROI that we see on that is huge, and it's all designed to get awareness of our region and put us on the map. When people are increasingly domestic tourism, there's a bit on offer, so just trying to be strong in market. Quickly, I'll run through our events and entertainment. As we mentioned earlier, huge events calendar for this summer, which is really exciting. We have a new music series where we're using the Merits. We're going to call it the Merits Music Bowl, so people can get the gondola up, and we've got a music series kicking off on the 22nd of January. There'll be three music events up at the Merits deck, which is really exciting. This just shows you how many summer events we've got. If you ever need information, our Threadbow events page is where we update all our information, so please jump on and have a look. I won't go through this in detail, there's too many. And just to run through our key mountain bike events, the Threadbow Gravity Series is a really fun, inclusive, really a grassroots event. Five rounds across summer, starting from next Sunday. The Snow Gum Sprint. Registrations are coming in thick and fast, which is really exciting. Good to see so many people wanting to get back out there. The Cannonball Mountain Bike Festival, after a 2-year hiatus, is back. So this is going to be our biggest and best yet. It's in February. Boost Mobile has come on as a partner, along with all of our major resort partners, which is great. It's going to be a 6-day festival. It's just getting bigger and bigger every year, which is fantastic. And then the mountain bike into schools, that one was COVID affected last year. We couldn't run it, so this is great that we can get this back online for March 2022. In terms of how you can keep informed and stay in the know, we love to communicate. We do it every day through a whole range of channels. So you can always jump on our website. That's our source of truth. We're updating it every minute. So if you're ever wondering what's going on up the hill, please jump on there, or you can sign up to the app. Our social channels are also a wealth of information, and subscribe to our emails. So if you want to be informed and be able to tell guests what is going on, our email delivery, we're sending multiple per week, not to each person, but to a whole range of people. So we won't pepper you too much, but I do encourage you to sign up to our emails. But that concludes tonight. Hopefully we haven't taken up too much of your time. Thanks to everyone for coming, and please stay and have a drink on us. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Yay.
Interestingly enough, I've learned two things tonight. one is that there's going to be a zip line, which is so exciting. Sign me up. There's nothing you can do back in winter and in summertime. Yeah, I can see young and old shaking their heads here.
Well, the Alpine Coaster is first. The Alpine Coaster
Okay.
is actually happening. That'll be up for winter 23.
And the zip line is 24, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's down the track. I'm not saying 24. I'm
Okay.
saying down the track. But yeah, the coaster's
Oh.
happening.
See
The
that
Alpine
marketing
Coaster
fine
is
line?
Didn't Stuart say 24?
Fantastic. The other thing that is absolutely brilliant, I've now got the excuse to buy a new car. Revenge spend.
Yeah.
What great term is that? After 6 months of lockdown. Conclusion of tonight's formalities, if you like. One of the best things about Jindabyne Connect is the opportunity to network with people that you have not met previously. So rather than getting into your cliques, look around the room, find somebody that you don't know, and just introduce yourselves, and you'll be wonderfully excited as to who you meet. Our next event is going to be on the 4th Thursday of January. So I know it feels a bit strange, but for the first time, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a happy New Year. We'll see you next year. Thank you very much. And thanks to Fred both for sponsoring the bar, but also being excited about zip lining in 2024. Alpine Coaster. Thank you very much, everybody.